Hey guys, this is another episode of What is Wrong with the Comic Books. And yeah, this is a new episode. And this is episode 2. Yep, episode 2 of What's Wrong with Comic Books. Now, the comic book industry had been birthed from that of said newspaper publishing housing. And it was during when comic books were called the funnies. And it was during when you know the whole Garfield thing came out. And the whole Garfield franchise was right there in the thick of things with the funnies. And the funnies were, in fact, the genesis of the comic book industry. And the comic book industry in America has raked in $1 billion, maybe over $1 billion, maybe over that amount. And a lot, and I mean a lot of the comic book industry has been raking in billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. And they're just only scraping by. Those such as Marvel and DC were barely scraping by. Barely scraping by when it was the funnies. And when the funnies started to rake in hundreds of thousands of dollars, the artists and the story writers of the funnies started getting paid hundreds of dollars per paper, per newspaper. And that was just a little sliver of escapism in a whole sea of either advertisement for companies or the news. Like 5% of the newspaper printing was all ads, and only 1% of them was the funnies. And the newspapers, they started putting ads. Yeah, the ads for companies were paid for and placed in the newspapers. And then boom, the funnies started getting in on the action. And then boom, we have like a lot, and I mean a lot of the funnies. Started with those Capitol Hill. Started with the bill on Capitol Hill, which was a politically charged, newspaper-based funnies. And it was during that era when comic books were getting gestated. The gestation of the comic book industry, and we all know that it was long before the like Marvel and DC came around. It was long before that, and it was during when it was like even during before Batman and all those other DC movies were ever made. And it was long before those Marvel movies and cartoons were ever made. And we all know that it was like during that time when everything was going from beginning to have its genesis. And it was like long before television was a thing. And long before the internet ever came to existence. And the newspaper manufacturing companies and the newspaper companies like used print rolling and the printing press machines to put the news articles, and they were working with print with like those of the news channels and the news anchors and those who worked as the news outlet, that they were working with the government during that time. And we all know that the pop cultural zeitgeist of the time before then, and we all know that Marvel and DC, they got all arrogant, cocky, and conceited, egotistical to not pay homage to where the comic book industry had definitely got their start. And that's what's wrong. As time goes on, the ever-changing landscape of comic books had gone from the funnies to full-on comic books. And Invincible, we all know that Invincible is the newest form of, or the newest faction of comic books. And we all know that the Homelander franchise, who knows what comic book, like, who knows who owns the Boys comic book and portion of the industry. Who knows who owns it? It might be independent. Who knows? Maybe it's probably some secretive third faction that's just underground, but just popular enough to be the cultural zeitgeist of today. This has been episode 2.